Ladies and gentlemen, voted Long Island's best podcast by a bot farm in Russia. It's the Adult Baby Show.
I'm a sweet boy.
I'll let a girl suck any part of me. I mean, honestly.
It's just in my mouth, just.
Oh, like, I'll try anything once.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Except getting to work on time.
You just ruined my day. Fuck your day.
Oh, let's get the feet involved.
It's not a nut. Maybe I shouldn't say that out loud with you.
Some people
Yeah.
are absolutely
Uh-huh.
disgusted by me.
He ain't lying.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Adult Babies Podcast, episode 305. I am B.
Chick.
Ryan.
Look at us here on a rainy Friday night, gathered together.
Was it raining out there?
Not
No,
yet.
not yet.
It's coming though.
It's
but
just
coming.
like the calm before the storm.
You could tell. You could
windy,
tell.
right?
It is starting to get windy.
Yeah.
Windy. Trees are coming down.
Yeah, I do see a lot of trees down. My
Once
buddy's
we get
house has a
when it
bunch
starts
down.
raining and then the wind. That's
Sky is ominous.
yeah.
Good word.
I've heard that before.
I just downloaded a vocabulary app. Every day it gives you a new word to learn.
So is your goal to use each word in a sentence that
No.
day?
No,
I think
that's
his goal is to let me know that there's ways of knowing what words. Ryan has a subtle way of like saying this is a good way to learn new words.
the actual word and what it means.
Yeah.
No, I think you have a good vocabulary.
I
I'm sure.
don't.
You don't have a good vocabulary? Or you don't think he has a good vocabulary?
I don't have a good vocabulary. Well,
Oh, yeah.
I know what words mean, but I don't use a good vocabulary.
Apparently I didn't.
Like if people talk to me and they use big words, I know what they're saying.
Yeah, we know what they're saying.
But
So what's
I-
the
It's context. You're good at putting things in context.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
context chick? So what's the first? What do you have? Like a word for today?
So I downloaded it probably about a week ago, and I think it's a subscription thing, and it's like a lot a month. It's like $25 a month for a word of the day. Maybe it wasn't
That's
that much.
a lot.
This
But
is why
I
America's dumb, because it's too expensive to be smart.
I was like, I downloaded. I was like, oh, this will be fun. And then I just went to open it, and it was like, try it for free, full experience. Yeah. So it was $30. I'm sorry, $30 a year, but $15 a year now. Like they get, like when you
Okay.
don't sign up right away, they give you a better deal. Never sign up for an app right away, by the way. Always do the trial and let it expire, and then they give you better offers.
Do they?
Yeah, everything.
I didn't notice
That's
that.
the same thing with like any website you want to
You're
join.
probably right, but I haven't. I'm too. I'm always on the trigger finger when I'm signing up for something. Like
Yeah.
I signed up for something today that it wasn't even for me. I was signing up for something that I saw that I was going to put my friend's phone number in there, and I thought it'd be funny that like he would get like updates on this
Yeah.
subject. I don't know if it went through, so I'm not going to say what it is. But I put his email and his phone number in
Yeah.
it, and it was like once a day you get this text, and then I entered it, and then it goes it's subscription based. I'm like, I don't want it because then it's on his email. What if
Yeah.
he likes this dumb thing I'm sending him?
Yeah, but he's going to get flooded with other shit. So just sign him up if you want to piss him off.
Yeah, but I don't know if it allows you to sign up. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm surprised it doesn't happen more because that used to happen. Like I used to work with guys who would always fill out job applications under other people's names, like for whatever reason.
Well, that's why you always reject all cookies. Excuse me, on a website. Because cookies, what that does, it enables the website to use your information.
Yeah,
I learned, I forget when I learned that, but now I always reject all I used to thought you needed to accept the cookies for the page to work.
Yeah.
But now I just reject all of them. Page still works. And, hopefully
And you don't get
put on
I
the
still
mailing
accept the
list.
cookies, even though I know that
I
I
accept
don't need to
cookies.
accept them. It's something
I think
about,
it's
yeah, I don't
It's
know.
just another way for them to get
yeah. No, I know it's
information.
not necessary.
I used to always do it until now. Now I reject.
I have a thing with I feel an obligation to support the thing. If I'm going to a website, I like to. Well, obviously they want me to accept the cookies so that they benefit somehow from that. And if like I'm getting something from them, so I want to give it back to them. Like I just sign up.
That's a crazy way of looking.
It
at
is a ridiculous way of looking at it.
because they're going to screw you in the end.
yeah,
Yeah, because all
absolutely.
they're doing is selling your info.
Absolutely.
Do you pay for Wikipedia?
No.
Oh, okay.
I,
'Cause they're
yeah,
always,
does that, they're always, well, that's the
Wikipedia's
donors.
always asking.
I
for money.
rarely-
I'm like,
It's the
yeah, all right,
donors.
get out of
They
here.
threaten you that the page isn't going to be
okay.
kept.
I don't use Wikipedia a lot though. The fact that it's can be updated by random people always rubbed me the wrong way.
Have you ever put
Not
in
that I never-
something
No.
like just to be a dick on something or
No.
change
It
something?
does have to get. I've tried to put things in. It does have to get like.
approved.
It's not like anybody.
Yeah, and I'm not saying I've never used it. I do use it, but I there's
Doesn't
sometimes
get-
when you
there's
look
like
at
an overseer.
I mean, you can't just be like Tom Chickle
I
of
think-
the famous podcaster of Farmingdale. And
No,
it's
but
gonna be
I
on
mean,
Wikipedia.
like, you could adjust people's info on their pages. if
yeah,
you
but it'll
want.
get flagged and then they go in and then they'll take it down.
Oh,
like
okay.
stuff like that doesn't usually last very long.
All right, I never tried it. That's,
Like I just went to Golf Galaxy, and I needed a golf bag, so it was like a 15% off if you sign up for whatever. So I signed up, and then I was like, I'm gonna get hammered from things from Golf Galaxy, but it was worth it to me. So then Monique's like, well, you can just, I think if you respond like no or stop, if you respond stop, then they have to stop. I said, I don't know, but I feel like obligated. I feel like I owe them a couple weeks. So like getting the text messages without
too
before I
nice.
stop
You're
it.
too nice.
It's like they gave me 15%. I'll take the emails for a little while.
that 15% was nothing for them.
Nothing.
Yeah.
They should have given it to you for free. They really should have.
I understand what you're saying. I just like I'm part of the thing where it's like
I-
nobody cares.
Yeah, I'm no corporate
Yeah, that's
fan.
why I'm shocked
like
that
I'm not
you're
a
like that.
I'm not a gung ho corporate guy. I just it's
I
like
respect it.
if you give me something, I don't like people who use ad blockers on Google because I'm like, this is how they're getting paid for the
Oh
thing.
yeah,
Like,
I know.
Yeah.
But I understand why you don't. It's annoying. Sometimes some websites are impossible to read because of all the ads that come up.
They're
But
near impossible.
Yeah,
Too much
right.
X and
But
out.
I feel like, but that's how they make the money. I don't know. Like I'm getting something
They
from
make
them.
money every other which way, though. It's not
Just
like this-
advertising. Websites make money through
Nah,
advertising.
They make other ways.
How?
Who-
Unless
what,
they're
how?
selling something, if it's just a
How?
website, they're not other than advertising. That's it.
Dr. Internet. How are the websites
There's other
making?
ways, and I don't.
Yes, selling your
Specifically,
information.
no.
Selling your
Selling your
information for
information.
cookies.
There's other ways. They're screwing us all. Okay, they are.
Did you guys? How frustrating it when you're reading an article
And it just
and then all of a sudden an ad pops up and you can't go
Yeah.
back, and then it's like you got to scroll all the way down and hope it doesn't happen again.
Or
Yeah.
have you scrolled and you're scrolling a little fast because you're bored with the first part,
Mm-hmm.
and then like it shoots you out of the website.
Yeah, no, it takes you to another thing.
Like what the
you
hell?
accidentally clicked
Did
on
I
an ad.
accidentally
Yeah.
click for
And sometimes they're like you scroll, but the ad stays in the same
Oh,
spot.
that's
I'm like,
the
how
worst
did they
thing.
even do that?
It's like it doesn't like the page behind it's going, but
Yeah.
that thing's
Uh-huh.
fucking so annoying.
Yeah,
I thought I was the only idiot who really falls and does these things, but
No,
it makes me feel
everybody
better
does.
that
there are
does.
ways to block. Apple's introducing a new thing in their new update that's going to help block that type of stuff. And
They'll
there's
just find
already
another
stuff on
way, though.
Androids where you can add
It's probably why
attachments.
Won't they just
block
find
that
another
stuff.
way to get money
Yeah,
though?
but-
You know?
maybe less annoying.
I was actually just listening. I listened to a tech podcast, and they were talking about this very thing, and they were saying the problem is that they make it too much. Like they do. Like I'm willing to support.
Yes.
Show me some advertisements. I'm willing to do that.
Yeah.
But when you make it an impossible experience, then I'm going to figure out a way to not see any of them.
Yeah.
So like you're screwing yourself. Yeah, give me ads. I understand. Every once in a while, you scroll down the next one paragraph, then there's an ad, and another paragraph. I'll do that.
Exactly.
When you got I'm getting
Controlled
bombarded.
ads.
Yeah, right.
Not just like you get crushed with
And
pop-ups.
I'm an easy sell too.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like if you give me an ad that I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
put it in nicely,
Yeah.
not where I'm like frustrated, where I'm clicking. Then I'm okay with the ad.
They even hide the X now in certain ones. Like
Oh,
the
you
X used
can't
to
find the
always
X.
be visible, and now they even hide that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the worst.
Do you guys have a email specifically used for stuff like that? Almost
Yes.
like a junk email.
I have junk emails, but I always feel like I use.
Do you feel bad for the email?
No. I have one email that I only give to important things, so I don't
Okay.
I don't give that out. So I have an active email address that I do give to those things, but I still get those emails.
Yeah.
It's like my it's the email address I've had forever, but then I got a new like an Apple email address, and I use that. Like if I'm signing up like credit cards stuff like that, then
The worst.
If I'm gonna get emails that I actually need to see, I give them the other email that I don't give
Okay.
out for junk.
I think that's what most people are
The
doing.
worst thing
Yeah.
that you could get once you get like if you're ever unemployed and you start going on LinkedIn or anything like that and you start plugging in informations for jobs, then it's honestly worse than signing up for like subscriptions with the amount of emails and texts that you get from hedge funds and things that are it's like third parties trying to get you jobs, and they make it even impossible. It's like fill out the resume here and you click it and it takes you here and there, and it's
Yeah.
I'm still unsubscribing from emails from when I lost my job. It's
People are
crazy.
trying to hire you. Like that's on them. Honestly.
Yeah, I currently have 7,199 emails in my inbox.
Oh, I'm
And
OCD.
Yeah, I know you
He
are.
deletes our shit
I know.
without asking.
Yeah. But every once in a while, every few months, I sit down at the computer and I alphabetize them and I just bulk select and then I just start deleting stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll spend like a couple hours just deleting emails.
It is cleansing when you do delete it.
Yeah, then I tell myself when I'm done, I'm gonna keep up with this. As they come in, I'm gonna delete them. But then you get
What does it last, 2 months?
You get 55 emails in a day that's all junk, and you're like, I can't.
I can. That's just the way I am. I got OCD. I check my email almost hourly
Yeah.
because and
And
that's
there's
how
nothing
I
in
stay.
there. Like it's all junk, right?
So not over something like I use my emails for shit that I do, but I delete all the junk.
So, do you,
Look, those are 3 emails I need.
do you
That's
want
my
you
only-
want to subscribe?
Yeah, I unsubscribe. I do all that shit constantly on every email I get to try and cut down on it. But I'm the only idiot who's that OCD about the cleanliness of my emails.
My dad is like that too.
I just
He's
can't.
always yelling at me.
When I see somebody open up their phone and they have red dots in certain texts that haven't been open, and there's like tons of texts or tons of fucking emails when they all like, honestly, my head almost explodes. I can't even look at it.
Look at mine. Like you could scroll for the rest of the.
That's your email?
Yeah, this is my major email too.
But like even these are all my texts. It's completely, and I have the ones on here. It's all clean.
yeah, but this is why you're so confused as what time to show up. Because you keep deleting everything.
I don't delete that. You guys are one of my most important texts in here, right up in the top.
Okay, we're in the top.
You guys are pinned.
We're pinned. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah,
How many pinned conversations do you guys have? This is really an exhilarating podcast,
I
but
have 9, as much as you can have.
yeah, so do I.
Oh, I don't even know about that. I don't have anything.
Yeah.
Like my stuff isn't like that.
So here's
You
here's
can,
an
you just
interesting
choose not
thing
to.
that. So this is funny because I've actually wanted to talk to Monique about this. So I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk to her about it via
Yeah.
this podcast and when she watches.
Now, will
it.
she text you, like answer it, like when
When she watches
listens?
it, yeah, she live tweets me. Yeah. Another question: did you listen to the podcast that me and him did together?
I listened to some of it, not all of it.
Wow, we can't even get the other guy. How are we going to get people to listen to this podcast? We
I feel like
can
I
get the
don't
other
count.
member.
No, but last time
I listened enough to give you guys the views. Like you got a view.
No,
Yeah, but the last time we did a podcast together, we got like live text from the podcast with you chiming into it. And this time you're like, I don't give a fuck.
The last time
I'll do
you
it for
totally
you.
listened to everything. Yeah, I'm surprised. It means you're probably bored with us.
No, I don't know
Yeah.
why I didn't. Honestly,
Yeah, I don't know either.
So I have
I'm also not in the car anymore.
I
Long
have
period.
9 pinned texts, and Monique is my most recently added one to that.
Yeah.
So she's the bottom right because like when I added her, just started dating. I added. I added.
You got to
her.
move to the top left soon.
That's my question. Is the closest person to you supposed to be on the top left?
To me, it's not the closest person to you. It's the most used text.
But here's the thing: when I open the thing, the easiest one to get my thumb to is her.
So then that's
When I'm naturally holding the phone, the easiest person to hit is her.
Yeah. That
But I
makes
feel like
sense.
sometimes she sees my phone, and like Cheryl, my ex is, and also I text her a lot. We're still close, and we live together, so we have things to text about. She's my top left because that's like that. She was always my top left.
No, I honestly
And
think
I've seen on Monique's
whatever's-
phone. Monique's phone, I'm her top left.
But I think everybody.
But she's your bottom right.
But if your bottom right is
she's my bottom
equivalent-
right.
is your bottom right equivalent to her top left? Because people have different tendencies on their phone.
So I feel like if I were to move her, it would be strictly a what do they call that?
a move to appease her,
Yeah, it would be like
not natural.
And what's the word?
Fake?
It doesn't matter what the word is,
By
but
the
it's
way,
like,
Okay,
do you know how to do this? Have you done
No,
it?
I'm so
Hold
confused.
hold
by
the
this.
text down, and it'll say pin text. If you go to one of your
just pinned us.
conversations,
The adult babies one, or whatever one that is pinned on top.
I
What is
didn't
that?
do that. That did it itself, I guess.
No, because you probably did it. That's like you are really an idiot. Hold the text down. Look, B, hold it.
Oh yeah,
And
look
then
at
it
that
says
pin.
pin. And then
Okay.
it goes up there.
So now it's adult babies. I could take that other adult babies. All right.
Why do you still have that chat?
I don't know.
No, but this is, and I'm not knocking you. I'm saying people don't delete things. That's gone.
Yeah, but like even the pin thing, I got to be honest, I don't understand why I need that because it's right. If somebody's texting me nonstop, it's
Because-
all my last 5
But
texts.
because some people don't delete. Like to me, my phone's never really that messy.
I've
where I
never
can do it.
deleted a text.
But so that's say you have a chat that you don't use often,
Yeah.
and now it's all the way in the bottom, like to scroll to it to get to it.
so
Pinning
yeah,
it always keeps that there, so no matter what. But like,
I have thought myself too. Like, do I need to pin text? Because I don't text a lot, like a lot of people. So my stuff is usually at the top anyway.
yeah,
And if I'm texting somebody a lot, then they're going to be naturally at the top. So it's not the people that I'm going to want to text anyway.
Yeah.
So why am I even pinning text?
yeah, I don't understand the pin text. Now
Yeah.
that I see it,
So
I
I will tell you-
Sometimes it's easier to miss a text in a pin because it's not as obvious. Because like sometimes it won't show up as easy. So I've had pin text for years, and I'm not even sold on the idea that it's
I
helpful.
have a few group chats that I don't even want to say seasonal, but one of them is like during our softball season.
Symbolic
But like
is the
during
word
our
I
softball,
was, is the word I was trying to think of.
symbolic.
most of our our softball chat is pretty active during the season.
Yeah.
And like before it, even maybe right after. But there's always a period where it dies.
Right.
So like to me, but it's still like my softball chat's my top left.
Right. Top left. That's
Top
your That's your. So is
But
that
I
your
don't
number
see-
one?
To me, my number ones
Well,
are my top row. Not the top left, the top row.
Yeah.
He would do softball before he does the podcast.
So I have my family is
Yeah.
my straight middle. I have two family chats.
Yeah.
They're in my upper middle. I have my whole family, including my brother in
Yeah.
Florida, and then we have the whole family that's just in Long Island.
Yeah.
Because sometimes he doesn't, like if we're going somewhere, he doesn't need to hear and beyond that.
Yeah.
And then but I have, I don't know, a few chats. But then I have two people chats for all my individual families. So like I have both my brothers, my brother and their wife, my brother and his wife. Like I separate them into different groups. So if I want to just text them or whatever.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that aren't pinned.
Right.
But those aren't
Yeah,
used
there's-
often.
Yeah. You can get nuts pinning things, but you guys are pinned. You know,
That's
a couple
great.
friends, my
Now,
mother, my
you guys
sisters.
are pinned on mine, but I don't understand the pinning at all.
So
I get it, but I don't.
and I'm also worried that
how-
if I flip them now, I'm used to now my use.
You're already
am
used to
am
it.
I gonna text the wrong person? Not that I'm like worried about like what I'm gonna like. I'm not.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I get it.
But
is it going to turn into an issue where it's constantly going into one chat, now backing out and going into the right
yeah,
one?
right. Now I'm.
'Cause
And
you're-
I really truly believe like this is when I'm holding like if I would just put my finger down, it goes to her. It goes to that text. So why not have the person?
Well,
I text
that's why
the
I
most
said to me,
there?
everybody's different. Like when you
Monique
see
is
someone's
closest to your thumb.
when
Yeah.
when I see
Right.
somebody with a half-filled page, right, and they have like 10 pages, but it's like not everything's like not every spot is filled with your apps.
Yeah.
Like I don't
What does
understand.
that even mean?
It doesn't mean anything.
Well,
It's just,
that's if it's
Like
not your
something
last
like
page.
that?
You mean?
yeah, like people have that as like their first page.
Yeah, it's
That's
right.
like their main page, and then they scroll more, and there's other.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
Like
I-
I don't get it. I try and condense as little pages as I can, so I only have a page and a half.
Oh my god, I got so many pages I have,
jeez.
and pages and also groups. So my first one's filled with just apps I use all the time, and I struggled to figure out which ones to put on there because I use
Well, that's
so
what
many
everybody.
apps. Yeah, I got apps like crazy. So me and Monique we were in Manhattan the other day, and we were looking at watching all the planes. Like we were noticing all the planes you could see, like from Manhattan. What's up?
I just realized the apps that are on my first page are things that I've never used. Buffalo Wild Wings, Caviar,
But, like,
Indeed,
oh my
Jack
God.
Pocket, Roast, Sandwich Shop. These are things I've never used.
Roast is a good.
There's a
sandwich
rhyme
shop.
or reason
Fantastic.
to why every app is where it is in my phone.
Yeah.
Like I'm
I got
OCD
stuff I use all the
with it.
time. Yeah, I'm like,
But I've never been hold my phone like, where is that app?
because
Like,
you're
it's
already
always right
used
here.
to it though. Like you know where they are.
Yeah, but I can't be searching around. So I got one page, my home page, second page. I got third page. These are all folders with other apps in them.
A lot of
And then
folders.
another app.
How do you
look at
have
this.
that much space on your phone?
I always buy the biggest thing. You see, look at this.
Always big. He goes big.
I
Yeah,
agree.
and I
should
got
start
plenty of
doing
room. I
that.
got plenty of room in this
I'm
phone.
always constantly deleting apps that I don't use because I don't like to have 17 pages.
But I'm always like, but I might
short.
need that app. So yeah, me and Mooney would sit on the rooftop of the hotel we were staying at, and we're just watching all the planes go over. And we're like, wow, look at that. So I'm like, oh, when do they go? And I go, let's find out. So I pull up. I have FlightAware.
Yeah.
You have a FlightAware.
I
so
know of
I have Flight Radar.
Same
there's
thing.
there's another one too that's similar to that. I think I should wanted to look into because I hear it's better, but. She was like blown away. She goes, "You have an app just for an app to figure out where the planes are." I'm like, "Yeah, you can every plane in the air. You can
You
find
know
out
where it's coming
you
from,
can-
where it's going.
Yeah, you can like that's where that plane's going.
That's one of my favorite apps on my phone.
Yeah.
Flight Flight
Flight
Radar.
Aware? Flight
I have
Radar,
Flight
yeah.
Radar.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and I've talked about this on the podcast. I'll follow a flight like to
just
Alaska
follow-
just to be like, oh, because like you'll
Did
see
it get there okay?
You'll see it take off in
Yeah.
like JFK. Like I'll watch it. I'm like, oh, I wonder where it's going. It says Alaska.
Yeah.
12 out, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And 10:30 at night. I'm like, huh. Now it's over the
yeah.
Canada
It
somewhere.
is fascinating.
And I find
just-
my friends, if my friends are going away, and I'll be like, hey, there you go. By the way, you're right over the Carolinas right now.
That's
I
so
love
funny.
it. I love it.
It's really interesting that we're allowed to have that information.
It
you know?
is.
Yeah.
Well, because most of that, I guess you can't really. I mean, you can do a lot with it, but I don't know. I like the constellation one, or like it could tell
Yeah.
you what the satellite is, what the
I played with that one. It never. It said
the
something in
accuracy
there.
of that is
the
not great.
accuracy was off.
Yeah.
you have
Right.
to calibrate it too,
Yeah.
and I think you have to
Is-
continuously calibrate it.
How do you do that? Because
I-
they used to tell me you have to
I
circle
don't
your
know
phone.
if I'm doing it right, so I don't
You
even.
have to circle your phone in a figure eight, and I always
Yeah.
feel like an idiot. And they're like, "Oh, they say calibrate your phone," and you're sitting there, and then nothing changes. I'm like,
I
"Yeah."
almost thought you had to kind of like calibrate it, like
Maybe.
almost, I don't know.
Yeah.
Doesn't it have the little circle where it shows you how to do it?
Maybe.
Or am I wrong?
I don't know.
Listen, there's a lot of stuff
The
that
bottom bar to me is also a big thing. What you
bottom
Is
keep-
that settings in your bottom bar?
No, my settings are always in the top left.
Yeah.
Below the weather.
I find it's camera. Camera's a good one, but camera's too easy to find other ways. Because camera you can
But I
get just
never
by
use it by shortcuts. I always use it
you
by
can get,
that.
like if I want my camera when I'm open, like I just hit it and it's not even I don't have to unlock my phone. It's right there.
I know.
So it
I
seems like a
keep my
wasted
text,
spot.
My phone calls, my email, and my camera on my bottom bar.
Yeah. See, I'm text, phone, Safari, music.
He's got Facebook on his bottom bar. That
I-
to me is absurd.
I-
And you don't even use Facebook a
That's
lot.
what my other thing is.
I don't know what any of this means. I've
Take a
never had
minute and organize your phone. Your life's going to be
You
improved so
saw
much
what
better.
this stuff
Honestly,
means. It
don't
doesn't
think-
mean anything other than organization.
I think you guys are both insane. I don't think this. If I move my thumb one over, I could find what it is. I don't know.
I bet you
message-
more people can relate to me and
You're probably
Ryan
right.
with their phones than you.
I'm not saying I have it all together.
You don't.
I'm
Have-
just saying
way off.
I have
I
my
do-
bottom is my messages,
weird.
my Instagram, my Safari, and my Facebook.
To me, it's a
Yeah.
crazy bottom bar.
That's wild.
I think that's a great bottom bar.
You don't even use Facebook that much, do you?
No, I use it to promote, or
I guess.
See, like this is an example. Like it's not really exactly the same, but my most used app other than my bottom is probably Instagram. I'm on Instagram too much. I'm actually thinking about deleting it again.
You're great on Instagram. Don't delete it. You have those
No,
great pictures.
Yeah, you can't delete it.
Not delete it, like delete it from my phone, and then only have access. And then because I did this for a while, and it was actually really helpful. Like it felt healthy to only be able to check it when you come home. I have a second phone; I can check it from there or on the computer. But to have it with me all day, I check it too much throughout the day. So I would just like to give myself an hour, maybe when I'm home, and check through it, and then I could post from there, and then that.
Don't you think you're gonna miss stuff?
Yeah, but when I did it, I didn't miss stuff. I didn't feel like I missed stuff.
I was thinking, as I've been thinking about, because I'm on my phone a lot, that I might do like one day a week where I literally just don't use
use
the
it.
phone. Just one day.
Yeah, so I just came across. I have an old flip phone, and I thought about. I'm like, I would love to activate this with the same number, and then one day just go out with the flip phone, like just for the case of emergency. So you can call somebody, or you can even text. I used to like the T9 text thing. I was pretty good at it.
I like Snake on the old
Yeah,
Nokias.
like I would love
Good
to just
phone.
go out one night and it feels so
good
good in
game.
your hand. It's so smooth, slick.
just
pops
different
your
too.
phone.
It's old school too.
Yeah, I wish, and I think there was a company years ago. It never took off, but they would give you a flip phone that you could associate with your cell phone, and then leave your smartphone home and take a flip phone.
Yeah, do
with
they
you.
even
that would
sell
be nice.
non-smartphone
I don't think so.
phones anymore?
Even
That-
like a jitterbug now is a touchscreen.
what about for a kid who you don't want on
They
something
got
where
it.
they
no,
could
they
just-
must. They
No,
must.
No, I
have it.
really
into it.
don't think about it. When's the last time you've seen somebody on a phone
Yeah.
that didn't have some sort of
I
Wi-Fi?
think you're able to get rid of the.
I think you
internet
could delete
access.
things on. You could like
Yeah, but the problem is you could
put like a
easily
security
put-
like call like whatever on it and stop them from using things. But
Yeah.
when's the last time you saw a phone that didn't have it?
Yeah.
Like you said, a flip phone.
So my argument for I use Instagram a lot is this is my argument to Monique if she's listening when she's listening that's in the similar spot that her name is because I use that a lot. Like if I was like using most popular apps, it would be in the top left, but that's not. I don't check that very much. So why would I want to? You gotta like adjust your hand.
Yeah.
I think it depends on the person. So I don't necessarily think your top left is always your most important. I think everybody has their own.
I'm gonna leave it up to Monique. If she's gonna listen to this, Monique, text me and let me know where you want to be
So if
located.
she
on
does
there.
say, "I
If she
want
wants
you
to be in the
move
top
me,"
left,
are
then I'm
you
moving
going
to
to
the top
move to
left.
the top
Yeah.
left?
But I wanted her to tell me that, knowing that I think that it's a
Ridiculous.
silly move. Yes. But if that's what she wants, if that would make her feel better, then I would do that.
I don't. From what I know of her, it doesn't seem like she would give a shit. But I also, I don't know her like you do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, we'll report
It would
back.
bother me.
If you were, if like
Yeah.
an ex was like
Yeah.
before you in the list.
I could get
Yeah, what?
that. That's the only aspect of it I would understand.
Yeah.
But I mean, this guy lives
Right.
below her. Like they're not.
I
It's
know.
not your typical.
Yeah.
situation.
We've all hung out. Like they get
Yeah.
along.
She
It's
lives
like-
on the upper left of your
Yeah,
house.
yeah.
Does
Yeah.
she the upper left? Does
Yeah.
she? Well, I don't want to get into it on here. Really, I was gonna say, does she give you shit about living here?
No.
We
She-
don't-
We probably give more shit about living here.
Because I
it's
was
not-
gonna be
'cause
like, I am very pro Monique right now. Can you move west?
Yeah, well, when the house is sold. No, not really with Cheryl, because they've met. I don't think she's threatened at all by it. But there has been a girl who's been like commenting on
Oh, I believe it.
stuff.
On your
For me-
stuff?
Yeah, and this is a conversation I want to ask you guys. You ever have somebody like a girl who's like in your inbox and they're commenting on it, and everything is like above board, but you question their intention, and then
yeah.
how quickly do you call them on it? Like, do you just let them write out? So I dated this girl very briefly. You've actually, I think you guys met her once. Maybe you met her. She came to like an open mic once.
Okay.
Whatever. And we dated for a little while. I just realized she just wasn't for me. We ended things, but we kind of stayed friendly, and we didn't talk for a long time, and then we talked for a while, and we didn't talk for a long time. But every once in a while, she comes back around, and like she just like started kind of DMing
Coming
me
back
or like
around?
commenting on my Instagram stuff. She commented on one of the old baby's posts.
What'd she
So,
say?
She
We don't have to-
commented on the last video I used, said something about like I'm not great, whatever. And, yeah, she's commented on that.
Yeah.
So I think
I'm not.
Monique sees her posting things. She's like, "Who's this bitch?" You know?
Yeah.
And I don't. And I'm like, I can't argue it because I'm also like, yeah, like she hasn't done anything to like really make it like
Awkward or
like
uncomfortable yet?
for me to say something.
Yeah.
But I feel like has ill intention. So I'm like
Does she
waiting.
know about Monique? Well, if she follows
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
there's no way
and like
she-
Do you
when I
think she
write her-
listens to the podcast.
Well, she listens to the clips, and she might be listening to this. But
Yeah.
but this would be a good way to have that conversation with her. Like if she,
funny
and like
to
she
have
hasn't
the
texted me in a few days. Like she's
Text? Oh, like comment.
yeah, but no, she'll text me
Oh, she'll
occasionally
text.
too. Yeah, like it's rare, but occasionally she'll
Yeah,
text
yeah.
me.
And you're cordial.
Yeah, but I'm cordial. Like I feel like I know her intention because like I know she
Well-
was also into me and she didn't want to stop dating. So
That's
like
my whole thing is so
Yeah.
it's different when it's like a friend, somebody you have a long friendship with, and
Yeah.
they come in and out of your life and text you.
Yeah.
When it's somebody you kind of dated, and the only reason why you were ever together in the first place is because there was
Right.
a mutual interest. Why else would that? The person's not coming
Right.
back in your life to be a friend,
right.
in my opinion. I'm not trying to fuel the fire.
Yeah, I think that she does. I think that so when we first met, we met on a dating app, and she was signed up to do a governor's bringer show. Like before we even started talking, and then I told her I was a comic, and she was like, "Oh, no way!" And I told her, so like she was kind of into doing it. She never ended up doing it. She canceled it, and she's never done stand up. But she was kind of into doing that. And then we were doing a podcast. She goes, "Oh, I want to do a podcast," because she kind of like is interested in that. So I think part of it is she likes that I do shit like this that she wants to do. So I think I'm like a gateway into doing something that she wants to do. So, but
You're still the ultimate reason. Like, it's not. This is maybe a side piece that could come with dating you.
Side piece.
right, yeah. No, I agree, and I've never tried to like tell Monique like, "Nah, you're crazy." It's just, I'm always like, I understand, like all your concerns are valid. Like I have had the same questions, like why are you writing, like why are you doing this?
Yeah.
And but I feel like if I would just tell her at this point, like, please don't comment. I mean, don't text me.
Well, that's just
it would kind of be
yeah.
like I haven't done like
I didn't do
if that's
anything.
not her intention, then then I look like an idiot. To be
Well, I
like,
agree with that as well.
so, but also like, but what am I sacrificing? Because I'm not like close friends with this person. So is it easier to just be like,
Well, I have no problem with people hating me and whatever. So I honestly,
Yeah.
to like,
Very
even if
clear.
you did offend her, like, I would be like, fuck her.
yeah,
But you're not me. So my advice almost is like, no harm, no foul yet.
you're right.
And that's what I love about you is that you're not him.
That's your favorite quality of me.
It's one of my
Yeah.
favorites.
But Monique is cool about it. It's not like she's not
Exactly.
like out of control about it. But she's just
She
like kind of like
knows, yeah.
she was like, yeah, what's her intention?
You're also pretty open with her with everything. You know,
I try to be like
know,
I've
I
learned
think
from
you're
the
good with
past. I have to like just try to be as honest and open as
If you
possible. with
can't
everything.
trust the person you're with, then you shouldn't be with them anymore.
Yeah.
And that's
I don't think
cliche
she
as it
doesn't
is.
trust me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think you guys.
But of course, she has questions. We all.
it's
would.
all right to
Yeah,
have
yeah.
questions and
Yeah.
talk about something that's ridiculous.
Right.
Like, that's like, why is this chick doing that? Like, I have no problem with that, as long as you two are able to talk about it and almost laugh about it.
Yeah.
It's kind of how I feel like the healthy way to handle it.
Yeah.
You can't just go at her yet, because you're right. She hasn't.
Right.
It's just.
And I'm also friends with a lot of women, and a lot of my exes. Like I still talk to my first girlfriend. So it's like I'm a lot to deal with as a boyfriend. I have a lot of exceptions to be like, yeah, I don't know. I have good relationships with my exes.
I mean, the things you've let her do to you, she should pretty much trust you right now.
True.
In my opinion, like, you've earned your trust.
I don't know. If
I
did.
like that you have like a relationship, or not a relationship, but like you're cordial to your exes. I think that's
Yeah.
good. I feel that way
I'm
too.
very cordial to my exes.
Yeah.
Are you?
Name one I'm not.
I don't know.
There's a couple train wrecks who I just don't talk to anymore, but it's not because I'm not cordial.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. You are.
They were just train wrecks. Like, I literally have a pretty decent relationship with one of my exes is my best friend's wife, but we get along great.
Yeah.
They all found the better friend.
All
Well,
right,
listen,
so
she
I didn't
lucked out.
expect to talk about any of that. I was actually, but
But this is the beauty of the podcast.
It is.
Brian. We don't know where this is going to
Yeah.
go.
but we did have a
let's
something
get
that we
into
do
that.
want to get to, and maybe
Yeah,
we should,
let's get to
yeah.
that.
So
All right.
you texted us a couple weeks ago now that we should make a list of our top 10 TV shows of all time.
Looking for the phone.
Yes.
You were having this conversation with some
I was talking to some other people
friends
about
of yours.
Yeah. And basically, I feel like.
Look at this text. I open up my phone. That's the text.
Are
I
you
just-
busy with something? I hope you can reply when you free time.
when you free time. This is
All right, you should
I
go for
get
it.
these all the time.
yeah, because you
Because
respond to them.
responds.
You get them. I don't get those because I got them before, and I just don't respond to them.
I'm not going to respond now.
Not now. He'll
Not now.
I'm
respond
gonna delete
later.
it. I
Yeah.
deleted it. I deleted it.
So I thought it would be fun, and I think this can continue. Like Chick said, maybe the top 10 movies, maybe the top 10 books.
I have an interesting category that I'm working on right now that is not, it was separate. I was going to make a TikTok video about this. It was the top 10, I want to do the top 10 opening lines to a song. Like, are
I
you
love that.
interested in, like,
Socrates philosophies
That's
Yeah,
a good one.
yeah.
and hypothesis. That's probably the
yeah,
full
so
line.
I'm drawn to, I love a good opening to
I
a
love
song.
that.
So I would love for you
That-
guys to consider that.
I
over
would
the next,
totally love
Yeah.
to do that. That, I feel like a lot of research goes into that.
Could I tell you off the bat? And I hate to constantly always go rap, but Nas, one of my favorite things about his whole career was the first song, first verse that ever blew him up was New York State of Mind. and just like he kills it.
Yeah.
Right. He comes right off.
That's a
the
great.
gate.
That's a great opening.
But I think to me, a great opening line is even like the first like few words, like the first.
I got you.
So not like a first verse, but
Oh, no,
like
I don't
the
even
way,
mean
just
the
the way
verse, but I'm
first,
saying
just
his
the way
first line
it
in that.
opens. So I have a list of about
There's
7.
so many.
I have a list of about 7 right now. So
I'm gonna get right to that.
and we can play them on the podcast.
Yeah.
too,
Let's
you
do
know.
that. That'll
Yeah.
be our next top 10. We'll try to do
Yeah.
that because I think this is fun, and
like
maybe the I think we're all a little different with our views of television and movies. So I don't know, man. With mine, I kept writing them down, and I had to cut some out.
Yeah.
But I don't know. How do you want to do this? Do you want each person to do
Top
10?
Yeah, right? Each person run down 10. Yeah.
All right.
I'll go first.
All right.
Okay.
Excited.
I'm the chick. So
I don't know what that means.
Yeah,
but
nobody
ladies
does.
first. You chick.
Oh,
It
oh,
was a
yeah.
That was
terrible
actually,
joke.
it wasn't.
Something there.
I just went over my head, but that was clever.
He's too clever for us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm so witty.
Okay, yeah, we didn't expect it.
Do you want me to count it down?
Yeah,
I think that
10.
I
No, but
want- I wanna
worst to
go-
last or best to worst?
I
No,
think
worst. It's always worst to last.
You're
yeah,
right, you're
I
right.
think 10 to,
All
to
right.
1.
So my number 10, and this was, I wanted to put one throwback series, and it's one that I hold dear to me, is The Twilight Zone.
Okay.
Interesting.
The original.
The original Twilight Zone.
Was there a not?
They
I
did
think
a
they
Twilight
did.
Zone movie in the 80s.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
what it was. I'm thinking of.
I think the original show's genius, ahead of its time. But it's
I never watched a lot of it. I don't know, like, what was it? What New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, they do a
they
marathon.
used to do a marathon. I think
Yeah.
it's New Year's Day. It probably
Yeah.
is the New Year's Eve into New Year's Day.
Yeah.
You know, I've never seen it either, but is it something like Black Mirror? Is that the kind
Black
of
Mirror
comparison I
is
get?
something like this.
Well, yeah, yeah. That's the
But there's
correct
more.
way to put it.
Black Mirror is based in science, but
This is not necessarily
there's
all
a lot of like.
science.
There's a
It's-
lot of sci-fi.
But it's the
stuff
same
going
sort
on
of
there.
idea, like that.
Yeah, every
it's
episode
all
is
like futuristic, weird, end of
Okay.
the world
I
things,
like that.
and they always end in like a crazy, like the guy's
Yeah, like,
fucked or whatever.
I've heard of you hear a lot of stories like there's the guy with the glasses.
Oh
like,
yeah,
that's,
and
that's
then
a
he
famous
gets it
one.
and it breaks, and then
Yeah.
he can't. He just wants to
Yeah.
read, and his
He,
glasses
all he
break.
wants to do is read. And
Yeah.
like find like everybody else dies and he's left
And he
with
gets
all
left with
books,
all
and then
books,
his glasses
and his
break and he
glasses
can't read.
But it's like
What?
it.
Isn't that?
I
life?
like to
That's
say it
life
still
summed
holds
up.
up
Yeah,
because even though it's black and white and they're kind of like
That doesn't bother me at
yeah,
all.
it's I love the Twilight Zone.
Can we start? Are you an Alfred Hitchcock fan?
One of my favorite.
Yeah. So
directors.
the Huntington, the Cinema Arts, they're running a bunch of Alfred Hitchcock stuff
when?
coming up. I saw it in the map that
Yo, I
on
gotta
the,
look
on
in
the
on
calendar.
That. If you guys want to come see him with me, I'm in. Let's
Yeah,
do it.
I don't go deep with Hitchcock, but I would like to see him in the theater. I
If
feel
they
like it'd
have
be a
rope
cool,
playing,
cool
you
spot.
gotta watch that. That's one
He's
of my
been telling me
favorites.
about Rope.
I
I've only
love
seen
it.
Psycho.
Psycho's the most perfect movie ever made.
I thought it was fantastic. All right, continue. Number 9.
Number 9, which I think I'm gonna get shit for because it's so far down, is Breaking Bad.
I mean,
Well-
I go ahead.
I don't think Breaking Bad is in my top 10. But I had trouble where I was going to put it. So I don't hate it.
So the thing with me with Breaking Bad is I love that show. I think it's a great show. There's just 8 other shows that personally for me I liked more.
Yeah,
And that's what I want to say this. This is our favorite. It's not necessary. Like, I feel like I'm going to say some stuff and Chick's already going to get mad at me.
No, I get it because it's not the best top 10. Your top 10.
It's what I feel. But all right,
It's a very
what
personal
were you going to
list.
say about Breaking Bad?
so it's not on my list. It's one of the few shows like that I watch all the way through. I don't. That's the problem with my list is I haven't watched a lot of those long dramas.
Oh, okay.
I watched all of Breaking Bad, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my way through it. I was never like, oh, we got to watch another episode. We got to watch another
It
episode.
didn't blow you
didn't.
away.
I was always like, yeah, we can watch another episode if you want. Or like, I'm good for the night. Like I didn't ever need to blow through it. I think the acting is way overrated. I think
Really?
I think it's terrible acting across the board on Breaking Bad. And I feel nuts because everybody says just the opposite. And I go like Bryan Cranston, like he's a bad actor. Like the only like
I think
Bryan
that's,
Cranston's a good actor, but he does a lot of the same roles.
I just think he's
I
an
don't-
over actor.
what are you talking about?
Him and
A lot of his
Jesse
characters to me
like
are the same.
after Breaking Bad. But all right.
I think they're both like crazy over actors. The wife is an over actor.
By the way, I hated the sisters in that show.
Yeah.
The two sisters, they were a couple
The
of...
wife and
the
and
wife
her sister.
And her sister.
Yeah, they were terrible.
Ugh,
Terrible
they just
actors.
made me...
The wife's
nuts.
husband, terrible actor.
I thought he was good. Hank?
Yeah, I didn't like any of
The
them.
one issue I
Mike-
have with
Mike
calling
was a
people
terrible
terrible
like-
actors is sometimes
Mike is great.
No.
sometimes to me the actor gives you what the director wants. Most of the time, you like to think that the
Yeah.
director's not going to sign off on something that you didn't get right. But so whenever I hear someone say they're overacting or doing that, I'm like, it's probably more of the director's fault.
Yeah,
than
well, the
it
director
the
is.
actor.
Very well
If
could
there's
be.
bad acting in a show that long, then the director is definitely to blame for that. I mean, but
I love the way there's bad acting in a show that long. You're the one person that feels this way. I mean,
You're
across
right.
the
It's
board,
nuts.
most people think the acting was pretty
I know
damn
that. I'm absolutely, and I'm not trying to be this disagreeable person. I just always am like,
I
this
get
guy's
it.
a bit. I was like, this guy's a bad actor, right?
We're
No?
allowed to be disagreeable.
Yeah.
And what I love about this top 10, it's going to be hard to get through because all of us are going to have something to say
Yeah.
about everything. But
I
I'm
think,
only
like,
up to 8.
I
A lot,
know,
of,
I
a,
know,
lot,
I
a
know.
lot, like a lot of the plot lines were a little ridiculous for me. Again, I enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed my time
A
watching it. But
science teacher that becomes a...
no, but like the way they got out of, like they would write themselves into corners, and the way they would write themselves out was like a little crazy, like a big
Right.
magnet.
Can I
and,
tell you that's why I
you
didn't
know.
put 24 in my top 10? Because as much as I love that show, it's so ridiculous that I
Yeah.
refuse to put it as a top 10
Yeah.
show.
Never watched that show.
It
but I
was
heard great things.
exhilarating as it came at the time.
I did consider putting Breaking Bad on my list because I did watch all the way through and I enjoyed my time with it. But looking back, I was like, I think that show is a little ridiculous.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, now number 8. It's one of my favorite shows, even though it's 8.
Yeah, it's your number
I
8.
mean, wait,
But you act like the top
don't
10
have-
isn't to crunch all the shows, especially
did,
you've
yeah,
watched the
that's
top
true.
10. I used to say this all the time about songs. Like I would seriously say like, oh, this is like one of my top 500 songs of all time. Like 500? Why even mention it? I'm like, because there's infinite
so
amount
many
of songs.
songs, yeah.
To make it top 500 of songs is a crazy.
It's true.
If a song is in your top 500, it's a song you love. So if
Yeah.
it's show that's in your top 10, then this is a
is
great
fair
show.
enough.
Top one. What's he going to say?
Snowfall.
Yeah, never seen it.
This is going to be a show that I don't think anybody else will ever have in their top 10. I felt like I knew a lot of people who caught on to it late.
Somewhat recent, right? The show.
It just ended recently, like
Okay.
a year or two ago. It was the
You know
last
what?
season.
Can I interrupt? This is why I am so interested. Chick is not generic. He's not.
Yeah.
Like, there's going to be different
He
shit
likes
in
what he
it.
likes, and yeah. he's-
And I feel like you are too, Ryan.
well, yeah, I'd be surprised, but go ahead.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think mine is. I think my top 10 is kind of generic. I think
Well, maybe I'm proved
number
wrong.
7, Succession.
Love it.
Well,
I just think it was one of the most well-written
Love,
shows
love,
I've ever watched.
Loved. Yep.
From beginning to end, I love that show.
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I liked it. What was the 4 seasons of it or 5 seasons?
5?
I want to say 5.
I,
I
yeah,
didn't. I
something's
didn't watch
telling
the
me
last.
5. but
I didn't
don't-
watch the last season. The season ended crazy, like the second to last season, and I was so hyped on it. I couldn't
what
wait.
happened?
I couldn't wait for it to start again. I watched the first episode back, and I was like, I don't care about any of these people.
Wow.
Immediately, I was like, I don't care about this.
Wild.
Yeah.
Wild
You're
to me.
crazy.
I was like, I no longer care what happens to these people.
Unbelievable.
And I just stopped watching
You're a
it.
different guy. You know, you're just
I was so into it. The
You
season
think
before
your
that,
own way.
it ended like crazy. I was like, oh my god, a great ending to a show. And then they kind of like picked it up, and I was
you were
like,
able to just put that down.
they kind of didn't deal with the ending of the last enough, and I was like, you didn't give it enough weight. Now I don't care.
All right.
Yeah.
Listen, to each his own. A lot of people didn't love the last season. I thought it was fantastic.
I thought it was.
I thought
great.
I heard a
Wasn't
lot
my
of people.
favorite.
Yeah, there was some of the best episodes were in that last season.
I mean, I
I would
thought
like
so.
to. I plan on going back and watching it.
gotta watch it.
I would like to finish it. Yeah.
So after Succession was 7, number 6, South Park. Now, I wasn't going to put any comedies in this at all. But I was like, there's some of my favorite shows have been like sitcoms or whatever. And to me, as far as comedies is concerned, there's nothing
Are you,
funnier than
do you still
South
watch
Park.
them weekly?
Then they don't release them weekly anymore. Now they do hour specials. And they
really?
have like one since COVID, they've done about 7-hour specials.
Really?
And they're hysterical.
You watch them? So you watched
Well,
every
I've watched
episode.
every
You watch all the
episode.
specials.
Yeah, I love
okay,
it.
wow.
It's one of my favorite shows.
What's
Yeah.
your deal with South Park?
I liked it when I was in high school. Like I
I
watched
feel like
the
this is gonna
first.
be the condescending.
No, I just watched the
fucking
first season, and I just hated it. All the kids were like couldn't stop talking, like the kids from South Park.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't talk
yeah.
like it. I just find it hysterical.
And I thought they were funny, and I know it's well written. It's cutting.
They
but
just make fun of everybody.
I understand
and
that.
that's
I
what
just
love.
it's probably great. I just can't care.
I get
about
it.
'em.
I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
I do care.
have never gotten through an episode of South Park.
Really?
I
Is
can't
it
do
because
it.
it's not like it's like bad?
Is the animation-
drawings,
the
like
animation
The
style?
animation does bother me, but I do respect the hell out of them. I understand what they do, but
Yeah.
it's just not for me.
It's not my type of comedy.
And I
think.
love, but I did
Yeah.
love
The
that.
movies too. Are great. Like the bigger and
I
better.
can't even
think.
imagine watching a movie
But
about
the,
it.
the Team America with the police, that wasn't them,
right,
but
that
it was
was-
the like the guys. Oh,
I did
Yeah.
love the. There was a documentary a few years ago
on how they
Yeah.
make an episode.
on how they make it. I thought that was
They did. They
so
used to make
great.
the episode in I think it was what 5 days.
Yeah, had Bill Hader come in, right? He helped
Yep.
out.
When I say I hate that,
That
show,
was the Human Centipede episode that they did the doc about.
I totally respect it and I understand
Yeah.
why it's so great. It's just one of those things that never hit me.
Yeah,
and
I
I
think so.
try, but like the best thing I ever saw of that show was the documentary of it.
Yeah.
To me.
All right,
Why
listen,
we're all different.
I
just
don't
think that-
expect that to be people's like. It's
No,
like
dude,
and I
it's-
don't consider it immature, but it is kind of like a childish.
No, I don't think it's.
They
I think
are-
it's a.
I think they're geniuses in their own right.
do.
I'm not saying that.
Number 5. You wanted to say something before I move
No,
on?
that's
Oh,
fine. Go on forever. South Park. You know.
say what you're gonna say. Then.
No, I just. No, I
Just
think
say
they.
it.
Yeah. They get away with a lot more because it's a cartoon, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I just feel like there's a certain type of person who likes that, and I'm just not that type of person.
Oh, I am
Yeah.
that guy. I get it. Number 5, The Sopranos.
At 5. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what anybody. One, the ending was trash.
The
Yeah,
last
That's
hurts,
not
that hurts
why
that
I
hurts
don't-
the series, though.
It does hurt a series, but I also have Game of Thrones higher, which people hate.
But the good thing about that, The Sopranos, and I've never seen an episode of it, and
not
I
even an episode.
never an
Wow.
episode of it. No, I would like to watch it. That's another show I'd like to watch. I've never seen it, but it strikes me as a show that the ending doesn't really matter. Like it's kind of
It
like
doesn't.
it's just a character piece,
It's the journey.
and like you just like to watch these people
Exactly.
interact with each other. There's some shows like Lost. The whole point of it is like, where are they getting to?
Yeah,
Well,
what's
how
the
does it?
ending?
What is the answer?
Exactly.
And then they didn't have an answer to it. And like Game of Thrones is kind of the same thing. It was like building to like a climax.
They did have an answer to it. People.
Right,
Just
I don't-
felt
I don't- I didn't see
rushed.
Game of Thrones
People just
either.
felt
I-
like it was
What,
rushed.
Game of Thrones?
Yeah, they felt like it was rushed, and I understand the complaints.
Right.
I just think the first 7 seasons don't. It doesn't matter how bad the last
Right.
season was.
But a bad ending to a show like The Sopranos doesn't really matter as much to your overall feelings about the show.
It's not why I put it where it is.
Yeah.
It's just to me, the ending was
And
terrible.
when we
I
say
always like to
bad
point it out.
endings, it was people hated the last 5 minutes of the.
Yeah, it wasn't even the
It
whole
wasn't
thing.
the whole
Right,
episode.
right.
It was the last
Right.
3 minutes, whatever it was.
The last minute. It's
Right.
literally
That's all.
the only thing that bothered people is that it went black. And
Right.
it
And it's
went-
not even like they hated the way it ended. They hate that they don't really know how
they
it
don't
ended.
know.
That's
Yeah.
what it is. Everybody hates
Yeah.
but there's no. You watch something for so long and to leave on like a what?
So many great moments of that show. Though.
And such
Oh,
great
well-
writers to like. Well, you're such such good writers. You should have been able to write some great ending. But
Some.
I mean,
some
what's a
writers
great?
want-
Is it writing him? He goes to jail or gets killed. Is that great writing? Like, no.
I don't
Yeah.
think that's one of those shows that was so good to me that no matter what they did, they can't
That's
get
how
out
I
of
felt about Game of Thrones.
I want to watch it. Yeah.
So yeah, Sopranos was my number 5.
5.
My favorite episode was the
it. Pine Barrens.
no, the intervention.
Intervention was fantastic.
He killed the dog.
You killed the fucking dog.
He can't get once they find out about that. Tony can't get over the fact that he killed the dog.
What I
you
love
know-
about that show is there was so many dark moments in that show. Like this specific moment, Christopher sat on his girlfriend's dog because he was high on heroin, and it's very dark. But it's just that character and the whole thing was also hilarious.
Right, it's funny,
Like
yeah.
there's so many
hear it.
dark parts of it that are also like
I walked into the bar when it was closed, and you had your head in the toilet. Disgusting.
the the amount of lines that are so funny on that show is
Yeah.
just it's
And it's like they're not even. I don't even think they're supposed to be funny. Like, I mean, like, do you think when they wrote that it was like this is supposed to be funny, or it's like
I think so, but also
like this is just the character? Like,
the actors and the characters that did it were just. I mean, it was,
it's like that's what you expected him to say in that part, Silvio, right? He was the one who, disgusting.
one of my favorite parts of that series was when Jesus Christ with his Paulie Walnuts.
What the gray?
Sorry.
What is that?
I was going to play a video, but I was trying to pull it up, so I got it.
Paulie Walnuts is like, they go to Italy and he's like super, this is how the Italians do things. And
Yeah.
he goes to Italy and the Italians don't respect him at all.
Right. It's two totally different cultures.
Two totally
they,
different
they,
people.
they think that it's the motherland, but
Yeah,
they're
but they're
like,
not.
we're not like
We're
any-
not like you, exactly.
There's so many. All right.
I keep hearing people talking about, like, I listen to a lot of shows and they talk about Sopranos and they talk about people who got killed. I'm like, oh, now I know that guy got killed. When I'm just,
Doesn't matter.
but I don't remember any of the names.
Oh, yeah,
I don't
you
I don't
won't.
remember it because I don't know the characters. So like I couldn't tell you right now. Like I've heard so many times when this person died, when that person died.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know who died. I still don't know who
Do you
died.
want to
so-
know what movie I saw the ending first? And it didn't ruin the movie, but it did. I never got that initial wow.
Usual Suspects?
Did I already say that?
No.
You're a liar. I said
That
it
was
on a
it.
previous episode. Yeah, that was it.
No.
I
It's
walked
just
in
a
my
famous.
house
It's just a
once,
famous ending.
and
but-
I remember watching.
I've never seen that movie.
yeah.
No, you haven't.
I swear to God.
Yeah. It's,
So I won't even blow it for you.
Don't blow it for me. Should I really watch that?
It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
yeah, it's a good
I
movie.
d-
Yeah.
Better than The Burbs?
It's a better movie, but no, it's
right.
not. It's not more of a favorite than me. No.
Give us number 4.
5. No, 4. You're right. Now this is one where I had a trouble. I asked B, I'm like, can we put a limited series that only had one season? And he was like, you know what? You do whatever you want. Band of Brothers.
There it is. That's a great
Pretty
one.
dense, right? Hour long. That's pretty.
Hour
it's pretty-
long, 10 episodes, one season.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a mini-series.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or limited, whatever they call them. But yeah, it was probably next to Saving Private Ryan the best thing about World
Never
War
saw
II.
it. Also, never saw Private Ryan.
Oh, my goodness.
Number 3, back in the comedy spin, Seinfeld.
Wow.
Seinfeld.
Now, I was going to put Curb or Seinfeld, but I was like, Curb is Seinfeld. Seinfeld was the original. That's the bread and butter.
That's an interesting take.
That's
You hate Seinfeld, right?
No.
Number 2, Game of Thrones.
Wow. Not in
GOT.
the number one spot.
No, I always said what my number 1 is.
wow. All right.
Game of Thrones, despite the last season, even though I enjoyed it, the first 7 seasons
Enjoyed
were
your
so
time
good.
watching it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Number 1, The Wire, best show ever made. Not even. I don't even think there's a close second.
You don't
Yeah.
like The Wire?
No, I didn't like it at all. No, I
Hated
watched.
it.
I got through it all, but I was like, "This is
I love how you got through it all.
yeah." No, I liked aspects of it, different parts of it. I just always feel like I was waiting for something more interesting to happen to the whole thing.
I can't say I disagree with you.
Yeah.
I can't say I disagree with you.
My
I
favorite
love-
episode, my favorite season was the second season, and
People
a
shit
lot of
on
people say that was
That's a great.
I love
I
that.
think that was
season.
my
I love
favorite
that
season.
episode.
I was,
I was
way
actually
more interested in
gonna
the
say-
docs.
Yeah, the docs. Yeah.
The docs.
The
I
Greeks.
enjoyed it more like the second and third time I watched that show.
Yeah. I think I heard a lot about the build up, about how the kids in the street use technology to outsmart the cops and how the incredible. And I was like, no, they didn't do a lot of that.
No.
Like they were just dumb kids. Like
I one thing I did hear is how close it was to like realistic.
well, yeah, a guy who lived it wrote it. So
Yeah.
But sometimes you get that and it's kind of like, but
I mean, Method Man was good in it, but other
Method
than that,
Man's great in it.
There was some good acting in it, but some really bad acting in that too. There was
Wire.
some really bad acting in that.
Yeah, I guess. But the Wire, I don't know. It was so great. It didn't make my top 10. I'm going to tell you. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, it
But
made
it
my
made
bottom
my
10.
top 15.
it didn't make his
It
bottom.
made my bottom 10.
All right.
All right, let's hear it.
Number 10.
Oh, well, it's terrible.
What?
I'm joking.
All right. Number 10. 1997. Some say Sopranos started
Jesus
HBO's
Christ.
Gold.
Is this every number?
You're not going to do this. Please don't.
I wrote a little thing about everything.
Oh, my God.
It's not going to take long.
B, it's
you
going to take
promise?
so long. People don't want to listen
I
to
promise.
Oh my god, I can't.
Well, you guys are making me feel
Just go
bad.
through
Can we go him next?
Just
and
go
then you
through it.
last with this
Just
bullshit?
go through it because we're not even going to comment on it. Read your
no,
little
you
notes.
have to comment.
No, I can't comment. And
Some
listen
say
to this.
Sopranos started HBO's golden age, but this show walked so The Sopranos could run. Early roles for Christopher Maloney, J.K. Simmons, Bobby Cannavale, and
Yes.
Edie Falco. Oz, the prison drama. Have you ever seen Oz?
No.
I agree with that statement. That show had to walk so Sopranos could run. I get
Thank
what
you.
that did open the door for every other series.
Oz was fantastic.
Yeah.
My problem with Oz is I thought the first couple seasons were fantastic and then it fell off hard.
There's a lot of
Was
problems.
Meth Man in that too?
He might have been in one of the later
Meth
seasons.
Man's in everything.
I only
Fox-
watch things with Method Man. right?
Rick Fox was in it.
He wasn't it.
Dude, such a great show. And
It jumped the shark.
it did. Not a
That's my
number 9.
That's my number one.
Is it?
Number
Happy
9.
Days. No.
Oh, I was gonna say it would have been before the jump the shark.
1988.
Oh, God.
This coming of age story about growing up in the late 60s to early 70s
Years.
was a show that is the Wonder Years. And it brings me back to when I was a kid. I used to watch this with my parents. I think it was on Tuesday nights, ABC. And it was one of those shows I just remember watching with my parents.
Yeah.
Because I felt like they lived through that era. Mm-hmm. And I was like the guy Kevin's age, and I was about to live my life through this. I feel like it still holds up, like in different ways.
Definitely holds up.
Have you watched it recently?
I have.
Where's it streaming? Because it got held up in streaming because of all the music they played in it. They couldn't get the rights to the music
Is
that was
that
played in
true?
it.
By the way, the
Yeah.
music is the other thing I have on
But
here.
they changed it from the original music. If you watch
Really?
it now, it's not the same music that they had when it was in the. So that's how I understood
no,
it.
I don't think so.
Or maybe they just had to work really hard. Maybe they finally got the rights to this stuff. But I think they had to change some of the music in it because they couldn't get the rights to it.
That wouldn't
Possibly,
that
but
wouldn't be crazy to me.
all
Mostly,
the music.
it felt like it was.
I mean, you could watch the pilot. By the way, the pilot episode. Have you watched the pilot episode
I've
recently?
watched every episode. Not recently, no.
The pilot episode. If you don't shed a tear at the end of the pilot
Yeah.
episode, there's something wrong with you. You're stuffed like that Bucky thing. All right. Have you cried?
Next,
Winnie was.
love Winnie.
Yeah.
It made
was
me
a kid.
laugh. It made me cry.
Enough.
Okay. Number 8. 2010. Sure, he got canceled for jerking off in front of women.
Oh yes.
But Louis was one of my favorite shows of
That
all
was the
time.
HBO one.
Yes. Oh, no,
Yeah.
no, the FX one.
Okay. What was the name of the HBO one?
That was
Life with Louie.
Life with Louis. That ran like 2 seasons.
Okay.
The Louis episode, the Louis series on FX, to me was so good. I started watching it when I got into like wanting to do comedy, going to the cellar. I just loved every episode of it. I could rewatch it all the time.
All right. I love Louis C.K.
It was a great show.
It was great.
Better than his other show.
The one on
Horace
HBO.
and Pete.
Yeah.
The one on
Oh,
HBO?
Horace and Pete I liked.
Horace
but
and Pete I thought was
the one on HBO was.
I liked the one on
was
HBO,
a
but it
rough
wasn't
watch.
great.
Yeah.
It wasn't great.
It wasn't.
They were trying to
great.
do something with it, with a
Yeah.
throwback, like Honeymooners throwback.
Yeah.
I get what they were doing,
It's hard,
but yeah.
it's hard to watch.
Just the way Louis was shot, and it's
great.
It was just perfect to me. Number 7, 1999 to 2000, only 1 season.
Panda Brothers.
Every single character in this show was great. Seth Rogen, James Franco, Jason
Oh,
Segel,
I almost
Busy
put
Phillips,
this on.
created by
Good fucking call,
yeah,
Judd
bro.
Apatow.
Freaks and Geeks. Yeah,
Put that fucking
wasn't-
yeah. I
that's
love
a good
that.
one. Freaks and Geeks. Freaks and Geeks was a fantastic show.
My problem with Freaks and Geeks is, and the only reason why I didn't put it on, and maybe it's a dumb reason, is because I didn't watch that until after, like way after.
I didn't either.
It was just, and I always liked it, but like I don't know, I just never even came. That's a great pick. That's a great show.
It's such a good show, and I feel like it's almost better that it only lasted 1 season.
Because it probably would have got shitted.
Yeah, you know.
Shitted.
Number
But then
6.
they did the college one after that. That was not the same
Yeah.
show, but it was the same vibe.
It was same vibe, but I
Yeah.
don't know. There's something about
Undeclared.
Was that what it was? I
Yeah, I
never
think
watched
so.
Undeclared, but have you watched that?
No.
Yeah.
Do we
but-
consider the Wet Hot Summer Camp
I love those.
That's
I
like the
thought they
same
were-
group of people almost. It's fantastic.
I mean, well, a lot of comedy stemmed
Wet
from
Hot American Summer?
Wet Hot American
No, I
Summer.
think it's not a lot of the same people, I don't think.
Oh no, you're right. It's not. I don't know why I always put those and Freaks and Geeks in like the same.
Yeah,
Very different to me.
it is very different.
Yeah.
There's some people. I
I
mean,
mean, they both take place like in the 70s.
Maybe it's just that they both
Jason
had a ton of
Segel
comics.
was in it
yeah.
in both of them. I think that's
Yeah,
the only one.
that might be. All right.
Was he
All right.
in Wet Hot American Summer?
I think he was. Yeah,
He
yeah,
was.
yeah.
He might have been
I
in one
could
of the.
be
They did
wrong.
like 2 Wet Hot American. The one with they were the prequel when they were older
Yeah.
was great.
Yeah.
Number 6. Bryan Cranston, the dentist from
This
Seinfeld.
better be Malcolm in the Middle.
The dentist from Seinfeld, the dad from Malcolm in the Middle.
I feel
Starts
like
at-
we already talked about this, so you could just say it and move on to the next.
Starts out as a mild-mannered chemistry teacher,
He still goes.
turns into a murderous drunk kingpin. Need I say more?
Yes. Talk about the acting.
Talk about the acting.
Explain the acting to me.
Can you just say the name and move on?
Breaking Bad, 2008. Fantastic show. The story was good enough for the acting.
Not a realistic character. Giancarlo Esposito, the most unrealistic
Who?
stoic.
Los Pollos.
The guy who played, he was so stoic, everything is quiet, but he's a killer. Okay.
Ryan. We're not hating on other people's
Yes, we are.
favorites.
We're criticizing.
Well, yours. Go next.
Number 5, 1989. The show about nothing.
Wow.
I loved it when I was a kid. I still love it. I can watch any episode now and know what's going to happen,
You know
and
it's
I
not
still
one
enjoy it.
season, and you can't just say 1989. It went on for fucking 10 years.
Where it started.
Well, I'm referencing. I'm sorry for doing a little research, but I did the when it started. If you
I
noticed,
get it. I did notice.
I don't know why that
Don't make it-
bothers
don't make
you.
it
It
longer.
started in
Don't make it longer.
1989.
You want him to say more about it? Let him say the year and move on.
Seinfeld next.
2001. Number 4.
Friends, you loser.
Interesting you should say that.
If you have that on there, I'm going to smack you.
It's a good show.
Not, no way. I think it's trash, but anyway. Like, how do you like that and not some other things?
HBO miniseries, Tom Hanks, Steven Spielberg, epic World War II series. It's a timeless classic that makes Ross from Friends a pretty badass dude.
He wasn't. He was the most disliked person in the whole show.
He was a badass dude,
He
though.
got fired.
This
for
is the
being-
Band of Brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was badass. He was a hard-nosed guy. Band of Brothers. Guys, we're down to my top 3. All right?
Wow, exciting.
Are we all at the edge of our seat here?
Yeah.
2007. 1960s, Liquid Lunches. Pressure.
I know what you're
Madison Avenue,
Men.
advertising firm.
God.
Great sets. Great costumes, great performances, great show. Mad Men.
going. Yeah.
One of the greats.
I never watched. I knew what you would.
That's
I
a damn shame.
I never watched that.
I watched the first
I've heard a lot of
season
good things
and
about it.
Enjoyed it.
One of
never,
my
never
favorites.
kept up
What's
with
like
it.
the?
Yeah.
What are they? They're.
They're ad men.
Advertising agent.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. I missed that. You're right.
And they
I would
mix,
like to watch that movie.
They mix in like advertising ads that actually made it that you would
Oh,
know.
yeah?
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
I
Yeah, I wanna
never.
watch that,
I've heard
yeah.
good things. Never saw it.
That surprises me.
Number 2, 2018. The turbulence of the Roy family. The cast. Every person in this cast is different, but also the same. Okay? They are money-hungry slime balls. And that's what I love about this television show. Okay? Some of the funny moments in television, some of the craziest moments. Somehow everybody in this cast was likable, entitled assholes with daddy issues. Succession. My number 2 show of all time.
Wow.
I don't even hate that. I think it's such a well written show.
Yeah.
It was one of the last shows in the last few years that like when it came, every Sunday, like a Sunday HBO show that was like I want to watch it that night, which I never thought when
Yeah.
it started and that it would
you
be
could-
that but it was just so good. The cast too, they're great.
All right.
Number 1, 1999. I can rewatch this show once a year for the rest of my years. Tony Soprano was a complex character. He was a mob boss who did terrible things, but he was also a family man, right? He was a family man with a softer side. He would murder somebody with an ice pick, and then he would, have to deal with his kid that was playing too much video games.
Okay. Ryan.
Great.
The problem with you guys is I put a little work into this, and I'm getting criticized, and that's fine.
I that went faster than I thought it was going to be. It sounded like
did
it
go
was.
quicker
It sounded like
than
it was
I
going
thought
to
it was
be
And it
real
was a
laborious.
It was
Real laborious.
Go on.
No, yeah, it was good. That was a decent list. A lot of repeats.
All
So
right.
that's,
Was
it
there a
was-
lot of repeats?
There was 3 or 4.
Yeah, I mean a couple enough.
How many do we have that you've said? How many do you have that we've said? I'm sorry.
One.
Perfect. That's why I couldn't wait for you.
Yeah, his is gonna
Yeah.
be different. What do you got? I Love Lucy and Real
Well,
Sex.
remember, he didn't really shit on any of mine. He shit on a couple of mine. Let's go. I wanna
Yeah,
hear yours.
but my list is gonna make you guys realize, make you completely dismiss any criticisms I had of your list. You're gonna go, that's your list, and you're criticizing us. Can I preface a little bit here?
Sure.
So I don't really like drama series, and maybe I've said this in the podcast, and Joe List kind of summed it up so well, and I realized that's how I feel. That's what I've thought my whole life. I like sitcoms. To me, I like dramatic movies that have an hour and a half, 2 hours. We have a story to tell. This is how we're going to tell it. We know how we're ending it. We want to get from here to there, and this is how we're telling the story, and we have a vision about it. To me, those long dramas are too. Oh, what are we going to write about this week? Oh, you don't know? Then if you don't know, if you're making it up as you go, then I don't give a fuck. Like, if you don't have a story you're telling, I don't give a fuck. The Wire was separate because they apparently.
By the way, can I just interrupt? My intro,
yeah.
what I
This
said
is just an
was
intro?
45 seconds, and you're going on a minute 50. So, all right,
This
come
was
on.
just a rant in the beginning, and then he's going to rattle it off.
I'm just gonna
We'll
I'm gonna
see.
run through them.
We'll see.
So, but The Wire had a story they wanted to tell from beginning to end. They knew it was going to be 6 series and 6 seasons. To me, a sitcom is like the thing is, it doesn't really matter where the show ends. It doesn't.
Right.
That doesn't matter. We're here. We're telling the story, and it's jokes.
Let's
so how are
go.
we gonna get?
Let's hear these
How many
jokes.
jokes are we gonna get into these 22 minutes? That being said, this is a personal list. This is what I liked. I liked watching these shows. I felt very comforted by these shows. Number 10, New Girl.
Now, I have a guilty pleasure.
What did you just say?
I watched
Girl.
watched the first. How many seasons of that show? It's been like 10.
I don't remember. Quite a few.
I watched
yeah.
probably the first
This
3
is
or
with
4.
the quirky woman.
Yeah.
I loved her. That was my
although-
thing. I was a big fan of Zoe.
like her.
Zoe
but
Deschanel.
I would have never watched this show ever. I came across. I watched. Like it was on in the background, and I was like, "Oh, this is pretty funny." I'm like, "This guy's pretty funny." This guy Nick Miller, who's
Yeah.
played by Jake Johnson.
Johansson.
Not Jake Johansson. No, you see him pop around.
I don't
now.
hate. It's nowhere near top 10 for me, but I don't hate it.
He's so goddamn funny. I love the storylines. The jokes I think were so good. The characters I love.
He's the one with the black
I
hair?
just enjoyed my time with them.
He's
yeah.
the one with the black hair.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Max Greenfield, by the way, not a great actor. Like he overacts comedy wise. Bold choices I didn't love. Anyway,
Okay.
I don't hate New Girl. I watched the first few seasons.
so here's an interesting thing. I actually just updated this because I meant to add this show. So I just changed. I made an update today because when you said something, I go, oh, that's right, because I forgot about the show.
I saw
And
you.
this
I saw you.
is so there's 2 actually on this list that you guys said. Louis. I took off Superstore and I put on Louis. And you would think, well, if that was the case, Superstore is great.
Superstore was great. He said.
I wish I wish I spent a little more time on my top 10. I wish I didn't rush through. If you're gonna throw shit like Superstore, that you had to just take off for Louis.
But I took that off. Louis, you're right. I the other day I was
So
like,
is Louis
I gotta
9?
Louis 9, yeah. So I'm like, because that was
Superstore's 11.
that was great. Yeah. No, I
Superstore.
I have an honorable mention section of
Oh,
my
I
list.
do
yeah.
too, but I was afraid to
I don't
get
even want to
into
hear
it.
your. Let's get through your top
Number
10 before
number
we get
8.
your honorables.
Number 8, The Office.
I'll put that.
UK.
I won't.
Oh, you can.
I know. I'm not hating that. I think
Yeah.
The Office UK is fantastic.
I liked The Office, the American Office. It just got a little too off the tracks towards the end, and
Sure.
Ricky Gervais is
the UK one was beginning to end. The fact it was short, they just jammed it in there. It's like doing a 10-minute set versus doing a half-hour set where you only got 10 minutes.
I don't hate that.
There's
at all.
no filler. It's
All
just
right.
That's
it's,
one. That's a great show.
I've never seen the English Office,
Yeah.
but
It's good.
the American Office was in my.
The English.
I
Office
love
is
I love
very
the American Office.
Yeah.
The UK is no there's no downtime in it. It's perfect.
Okay.
good. UK one's good.
Number 7, the only dramatic show on my list, Newsroom.
Okay. All right. That's a good one.
Yeah.
One of those shows that I absolutely loved. It would never come close to my top 10, but I
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah, that I love the
Epilogue
whole
that he
thing.
gives, the
The
monologue,
opening,
the opening thing
that
is-
to me alone is the best thing I've ever seen on TV.
It
His
is.
criticisms of the United States and the way he delivers that. Great act. That's an actor.
That's one
Jeff
of those.
Daniels
Jeff
is a
Daniels could do
goddamn
anything.
slayer. Yeah.
To me, the best actors are the guys you could see do a comedic role like Dumb and Dumber, and
Yeah.
crush,
Yeah.
and then do a role that's strictly drama
Yeah.
or whatever. And I've seen him play bad guys, good guys.
he's
He's
great.
the fucking best.
I heard
like
his new
Bryan
show.
Cranston.
I heard his new show is terrible though.
What's his new one?
I forget it. I think it's on
Newsroom.
Netflix.
I watched last year. Was the first, and I
Yeah.
I crushed it in like.
I never watched. I watched.
it
I
is
watched the
so
first
good.
episode, but
Yeah.
all right. That out of all of these, that might be the show that I check out tonight.
Check it out.
But
Okay.
Office UK, a lot of people probably never even tried it.
I have
and
a
it's
problem
fucking
with the
hysterical.
UK. in
Yeah,
general.
and it wasn't. I'm not like this. Like, oh, I liked it before. Like, I didn't know about it. I didn't know about it until after
watched the UK after the
US
US
one.
one.
I watched like the first few seasons of the.
Yeah, they
I'm
got
like,
the
I gotta watch this.
voices.
I'm a
That's
huge
I like.
Gervais.
I like the
I don't
English
like
voices.
the
You don't like the
voices.
English
The voices
voices.
make
I
me
love English TV.
nuts.
I actually almost prefer English. Some English shows are just straight up better than American.
Absolutely. Well, that's comes into play later on. But number 6, Broad City.
That's
Comedy
one of
Central,
my
Broad
favorites
City.
too. As well.
I just love those
Never
girls.
watched it.
Just complete ridiculousness, and they're just hilarious. Number 5, Golden Girls.
That's a great pick.
See, I can't hate on a
I
classic.
can't hate on
It's
that.
it's jokes. It's just
I'm
jokes.
shocked that you
jokes,
watched it
jokes.
for like enough like that.
Oh my god, as a kid, I loved it. Yeah,
I
Me- me-
watched it, but not.
I probably watched a lot of
I
episodes
have too. I love
me
that
and,
show.
and Monique loves it, and I just bought her for her birthday. I bought her Prey candles, but they're the Golden Girls pictures on
that's
it.
great.
And we talked about doing a rewatch for it, like
I like the old
The
Like
Golden Girls,
Golden Girls.
just chock full of
it's
jokes.
the greatest joke writers.
They're so great.
It is
Charac-
great.
And the the characters that they build those jokes on are great.
I'm
You got
not.
the dummy.
I'm not,
you got the
I'm
slut.
not hating
you
your
got-
list so far.
Don't hate it at all.
All right.
I don't agree that they're top tens, but I.
But,
it's your,
my,
it's your
my,
favorite.
my,
top 10.
my issue is I
Exactly.
haven't watched a lot of the shows you're talking
I
about.
know, and
like
I-
Sopranos might bump all these. I just haven't seen it.
No,
You know
but
what
I
mean?
also respect the comedy aspect of all
Yeah.
of them, and they're good shows.
If I watch one of yours, will you watch one of ours?
Yeah. Do you get to pick it?
Snowfall. Actually, I don't know if you're gonna like Snowfall.
All
I
right,
don't
all
watch
right.
it
We'll
a lot.
Let me
continue.
think
We'll
about
talk
it,
about
yeah.
this after.
Number 4, Veep.
I love Veep.
I've never seen Veep. I want
Oh
to
my
watch
God.
Veep.
That's
so
with
goddamn good.
Elaine, right?
Julie.
Yeah.
Julie.
I mean,
Louise
to have a
Dreyfus.
run, to have Seinfeld.
They've been. How long is she doing?
New
that?
Adventures of Christine was really good. I don't know if you guys watched that. It wouldn't be on my,
She doesn't get enough credit for comedy.
She is
I
the
think
best
she's getting there, though.
comedic actress that's ever lived.
comedic actress,
Yeah.
100%. Did
Yeah.
she ever do stand up though?
No. She comes from money. Her father.
I know
was
that. The Hines, not Hines. What was her family?
I don't know. Her father's got nothing but money though, so she never needed to act. But it's best sitcom actress of all
Yeah.
time.
agree.
Second Ted Danson.
Veep is a show I didn't watch
TD,
religiously.
you got number 2, huh?
Look at his run.
Benson.
Cheers. Benson.
Uh-huh.
What was Benson?
That was one of Ted Danson's
No.
roles.
Becker.
Becker.
Benson
Same
is
thing.
Benson is the butler, I think. No, Cheers. Becker was a good show. Not
Becker.
not anywhere near, but then he's got recently he's got a run. He had
did Curb.
Bored to Death was a
Bored to
phenomenal
Death.
phenomenal show.
And then
Curb.
what's
He's
the
got
other one
he's
where
got
they
the
die?
Heaven one. He's
Yeah.
got a new one coming out now. This guy just
Gets
He's-
better with every age.
he's got a great resume.
My issue, my own issue with Veep is that I haven't seen all. Like I've seen
It's
an
the best,
episode
yeah.
here and there, and I loved it. She's
Veep
great.
and Newsroom. Two things
So
I might watch.
Armando Nietzsche or something like that was the guy who made it, but he also made a British version of that before they made that. It was called Thick of It, and I battled putting that on my list, but it seemed like a pretentious pick, and I'll go that and I'll talk about
You're
that.
fucked up in the head.
It just seemed like I truly loved Thick of It, and I recommend it. It's like if you
Wait,
like,
is this
if you
one of your picks?
No, it's not. That's on my that's on my honorable
I
mention.
can't believe I was rushed through when your honorable mentions are getting
Well, because
mixed in.
it's like if you end up watching Veep and you like it, watch Thick of It because it's like the same show, but just the English version of
I
it.
just can't stand
I know you can't. That's
what's
ridiculous
next?
to me.
so annoying.
Number 3, Curb.
You're up to 3 already?
Yeah,
By the way,
This hasn't
It's
been
moving
take-
much quicker.
Yeah.
by the way, they're all moving quick. It's 10.
Yeah.
By the way, I also was the same way as Chick. Curb and Seinfeld, I both could have put in my top 10.
Yeah.
I chose Seinfeld just because of it just had more. I didn't love the last couple episodes of Curb.
I haven't even watched the last season of Curb, but I'm not because for any reason. I just
couldn't justify putting both in.
That's,
see to me.
that's what I
But
was.
if you legitimately loved both, then why aren't they both on your list?
because
if,
it didn't. There was
if
others.
it's taking up room on your list,
It was taking up room.
that just goes to show how good Larry David is. That he took up 2 spots on your list.
He's that good. He's
Number
that good.
2, Seinfeld.
I love
Yeah.
it. See, I actually like your list.
Yeah,
It's a great list.
Seinfeld is just like there's. I
I
mean,
mean, the top 10 and 9 were. a
I
little-
thought you didn't like my Seinfeld.
no,
choice. Well, no, I just the look that
I
you
watched
gave
Seinfeld.
me.
I could just watch. I could same thing. I could watch
I
Seinfeld
got the
over and over
wrong
again.
vibe from
I-
your
I-
look.
I
I,
love
thought
it.
you were like, oh, Seinfeld.
But the show, I don't like. We've argued about the man, but the show is
That's what it is. You don't love
perfect.
him as much as okay.
Yeah, the show is perfect.
and haven't we all
What's
had?
the deal?
Haven't we
he's
all had
corny.
a Seinfeld moment? We all go back to
Constantly.
where it's in, and also Curb as well. It's like we.
Because Seinfeld is when you watch anything
Curb is an
Seinfeld has done.
R-rated Seinfeld.
Yes.
But when you watch anything Jerry's done after Seinfeld, you realize, oh, it was all
it's
Larry,
Larry.
David. All those
Yeah.
moments you're talking about, that's Larry David. It's
Yeah.
none of it. Like, and I don't think Jerry was a terrible comedic actor. Like, he was kind of a goofball, but they definitely found great people to put around them.
Oh yeah, I think it was a great. Just the 4 of them together were
Great.
It's one of the
Flawless.
greatest
Perfect
casts
show.
of all.
Number
What's
one.
number 1?
Arrested Development.
I couldn't.
I
get
never
through
really
this.
watched it.
I couldn't get through it.
Isn't that Bryan
You
Cranston?
get through it?
I couldn't get through
No.
it. I
Who's
Jason Bateman.
Jason Bateman.
I did. There was a hilarious episode I did or a clip I saw when what's his name blew himself.
Yeah.
That made
David
me
Cross. Yeah.
David
Tobias.
I did watch like the
I never
first
saw it
season.
enough to say either
The,
thing
what
about
they
it.
did after on Netflix, some good stuff in there. Definitely not compared to the core of it. You know, it's 2.5 seasons to start are absolutely flawless all the way through.
To me, it got a little bit old. It was like the same thing.
I don't know. I loved it. It was great.
I think out
it
of
made
30,
me feel
we
warm.
did 30 picks right now.
Yeah.
And we probably hit 20
Probably
shows.
25 original, like,
25 different shows.
unique shows. Yeah.
That's a good. See, this was fun. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed
Because
everybody's
me and B
list.
had
Cheers, Bob's Burger, Red Oaks, Extras, King of Queens.
Dude, Red Oaks is one of my favorites.
Red I had a hard time taking Red Oaks
Do
off
you
my
like
show.
Archer?
Yes.
Not
but I
enough.
never watched
I
it.
got- I got it.
Bob's Burgers, I love. I just haven't watched enough
That's right,
Archers,
he's
like
the
the
same
same
guy in
voice,
Bob's
and it's like
Burgers.
similar. Yeah.
Well, that's the whole thing.
I feel like I haven't heard anybody talk about Red Oaks, but I legitimately I thought
Red
that
Oaks-
was so
but
kind of similar to the pick you had
Wonder Years.
Wonder Years.
Yeah.
You know.
You know what shows I, want to put
like
as
a
an
coming
honorable
of age
mention?
story.
A really a one that I had a tough time not putting on it was Justified.
I never watched Justified.
Couldn't justify it.
You want to hear my top my
No.
my 5 that didn't make it?
Run
If
it
you have
quick.
paragraphs, no.
And no.
Run it quick.
Curb Your Enthusiasm, The Office, The Real World, The Wire, and Below Deck.
Can I tell you the problem with the
A
real
couple
world?
reality shows in there.
The real world, it's like the first 3 seasons where
First 10.
no.
First
not
maybe
10.
12.
Once they started getting to like I don't know, I feel like the first 5
First
were
5 were pretty great. I
pretty
loved-
fucking great.
Yeah.
There's some great there's some nostalgia stuff there.
I think the Miz was the last cast that was they were
He
all-
was.
There was
he
maybe-
was in the
but
house
that
too.
was
Did
like
he-
when I started checking out.
Yeah.
Was like that cast was like the first I was done by
Did you
then.
ever get into Road Rules?
I
never
liked
got
Road
into
Rules in the
Rules.
beginning, and then I once they Road Rules kind of stopped, and then they just did the challenges.
Yeah, but
and then
Theo
I-
Vaughn was hilarious even on Road Rules.
He was.
Who?
Yeah.
Theo Vaughn.
Wait,
yeah.
Theo Vaughn was on Road
That's where he
Rules?
came from.
He was
yeah.
on The Real World.
and nobody got his humor. He was the
Wait,
same guy.
wait.
He was the same guy then than he is now, and
Theo
nobody
Vaughn
got
was a cast member.
Yeah.
on Road Rules. Yeah,
Get the
Yeah.
fuck out of here.
yeah.
Wasn't he on Real World too? On
No, he did. I don't know if he
can't
did
do
the
both.
challenges.
I thought he did. Well, now you.
I have no idea. That's
Yeah,
how
yeah.
Theo
Back to-
Von.
And he was
Look at old
hilarious.
Theo Von.
And
Was it one
nobody.
of the first seasons? Or was
Yeah,
it like
one
a
of the
later
first
one?
seasons. No, it was one of the first ones. Yeah, not maybe not the first, but one of the
That's
first.
So
crazy
was
to
Tom Segura's wife.
You wanna know
Christina
what I laughed at? I was-
Pazuski?
I was,
She was right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
Christina
guys seen
Pig.
Above the Rim?
No.
Do you know
don't think I did.
the white guy who became? He was like a model after Real World. He had like the way, like a good looking dude, I guess, but he was like ripped up and had like brown wavy hair. I forget his fucking name.
Eric Neese
Yes,
from the
Yeah.
first season.
it might have been the
New
one of
York.
the first
Yeah.
seasons.
I feel like I accidentally
World,
came
New
to him a
York.
lot.
He's the
No,
he's the star
Actually, ignore
player
that.
on the green.
What'd you say?
I said I feel like I accidentally came to him a lot.
What? Wait, what?
He used to host the grind, right?
He did host the grind.
Oh, that's right.
And I used,
he
I used to
did.
come home and jerk off to the grind. And every once in a while, like he'd be at the come
Dude,
and
that's such a specific, like, 13-year-old moment.
they'd cut to Eric Neese and he'd be like, "I'm coming," and Eric Neese is on TV.
Hilarious.
And it reminds me of
true.
the Rory Scovel bit that he does. You ever hear this? The Rory Scovel bit.
That's actually a funny thing. Yeah, that's hysterical because
Rory Scovel talks about he watched I don't know what movie it was, but it was a Michael Douglas movie. It was like a lot of like sex scenes in it, and he was jerking off to it because he's like, "Oh, it's a hot movie," but like he was jerking off. His father walked in on him, and he was jerking off to this like these movie. But he goes, my father walked in, he looked at me jerking off. He looked at the TV. He goes, super long close up of Michael Douglas. And he goes, looked at my father. And I was like, that's what I'm into right now, Dad. I'm a huge Michael Douglas fan. That's how I felt
He's
about it.
great.
That's how I felt about Eric Neese.
Rory Scovel.
Eric
Yeah.
Neese is Montrose in Above the Rim.
Yeah.
He's like the star player for the green team.
Oh, is he?
That's dominating. What's his name before
Yeah.
he gets thrown out of the game?
Yeah.
I noticed that. I every time I see it, I remember that I noticed it. It's like I noticed it for the first time. That's the dude from the real world.
Wasn't the only one they couldn't get for the reunion?
Was he?
Yeah, I thought they did like
thought he was
they did
involved.
the year one reunion, but I think they couldn't get him.
They couldn't get Pedro. That was their-
He wasn't the one.
They got Puck. Didn't they kick him out again?
Puck was
No,
the
he
reunion.
wasn't.
So
They only did a
Fran.
year one reunion. I didn't watch it, but I
No,
thought-
Puck was on. Puck was Pedro and that whole thing.
Yeah, you might be right.
he
Who's the one who
turn
gets-
his fingers into a spoon.
Yeah, with the
eat
fucking
cereal.
the
Eat cereal. You know, think about it, you can turn your fingers into a spoon.
God, that,
What about the?
I love that show.
It was. I used to love it too, but there was also
fell off, yeah.
David when he took off the.
Oh,
wasn't he a comic?
yeah.
David, yeah, he was.
maybe, yeah.
He was.
He was right.
What about the
Dude.
guy who sang "Come on, be my baby
Come on,
tonight"?
be my-
I've seen you.
Oh,
I've seen the way you treated other thugs you've been with. Come on, be my baby tonight.
There's been some characters on that.
There
fucking
really
show.
has.
Okay.
CT. Remember
Yeah.
CT?
Oh, he's been like the king of. That guy made a career out of the challenges.
well,
That's
that's
right,
why
he did,
I
yeah.
think that because
Oh,
he was
Veronica?
real world.
that Veronica Vaughn.
One piece of, I think she might be like the girl who I thought like was the hottest person who's ever lived.
Oh, Veronica Vaughn.
Veronica
No,
Vaughn?
Veronica on the yeah. I drew her naked. Like she was in the Playboy. I drew her.
Did you really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you've been.
I used
When
to be
you put
obsessed.
your easel out.
Yeah, I did.
I used to be obsessed with Ariane Celeste.
Who's that?
She was the UFC ring, like the first big ring girl for the UFC. She was just so hot.
Are we done?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
This
And
was
by
fun,
the
It was
way,
a fun episode.
I think we need to follow up with this this idea.
I want to do movie quotes.
the top 10
Yeah, top 10 movie quotes.
Opening-
Top 10
opening lines.
lines.
opening
for a
lines
song.
in
Movie
songs.
quotes is good. Yeah.
Well,
I like.
we could do more of these.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, I like
I
it.
like the top 10 stuff. It's fun.
All right. Well, if you,
Do you hear? You know this guy?
Yes, R.I.P.
Yeah, he just died. Yeah.
Get your hand
Jack
off
Carlson.
my
You ever
penis.
see that?
you
clip?
know what's a good show that didn't get mentioned? I mean, I don't know if it's up there for best, but like Entourage or Arliss.
I feel like those ones
The
get
HBO
made fun
shows,
of
I love those shows.
constantly.
How about
Jiminy
the,
Glick made fun of like he was like I canceled my HBO subscription because like when they canceled Arliss, why would you cancel Arliss?
Well, you remember the whole Seinfeld with the Dave Arliss show, eh? And when what's his name was it Norm Macdonald? Used
Yeah.
to do his Dave Letterman.
Yeah.
I liked.
I didn't watch any of those.
How about the Larry Sanders Show? That was.
I was thinking that was
in there too.
Considering that, yeah, that
Larry
was a great
Sanders.
show. All right, you can go on forever. There's
Yeah, we
a lot of good shows.
A lot of great shows. I think that was fun. We all have our different tastes, and
If you made it this far, like, subscribe, comment. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
I feel like I'm constantly being cut off today, and that's fine.
Yeah.